Do you know what's more fun than castrating a bunch of piglets on the farm? Talking about cheap speakers under $300, and today we're going to rank them under $300. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's have some fun. I know, sorry. Growing up on a farm thing, life was a bit different for me. Piglets, taking care of them, a little bit more involved. Sheep, a lot easier. The sheep is involved. The pig is committed when it comes to that type of a thing. But we're not here to talk about barnyard animals and the things that you have to do to them when they're young so they don't dilute the gene pool. We're here to talk about speakers. Namely, speakers that are less than $300 for the most part. I'm going to give them a rank. Like when they're at their different prices, I'm going to say, hey, I rank this 6 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. And then I'm going to give my opinion on what's best for me. But there are some speakers in here that not necessarily are right for me, but are probably right for you. So let's get started. And these are in no particular order. So I'm not saying one is better than the other, except for the fact that one's going to be better for you or for me, depending upon what type of listening experience that you want to have. If you're new here, consider subscribing and liking this video. I do this for a living, and it would mean the world to me to give this a thumbs up and like it. Maybe even share it out to your friends. Thank you for watching. No cheap speaker list would be complete without the Sony SSCS5. This is one of my favorite speakers. It's a 2.5 way little bookshelf speaker, paper woofer, 2 soft dome tweeters. One's a super tweeter. This can be as low as $90, and at $90, it's 10 out of 10. Usually $123. That's the price that it's at the most often. Right now it's at $200, and at $200 it's like a 5 out of 10 speaker. Still a good speaker. $123, 8 out of 10. $90, 10 out of 10. Exciting, fun, not the most linear thing on the planet, but if you have some hearing damage up in the top end, you're going to be able to hear some details that you haven't heard before. Sony SSCS5. Next speaker is the Elac B5.2. Currently, right now, it is less than $300, right around $280. And that is one heck of a speaker, around $280. Very neutral, very linear. I think the 5.2 actually has better bass response than the 6.2, and it has a front port, which means you can get them right up against the wall. Actually, with the 6.2, you need to put it on the wall, basically, to get bass balance. But the B5.2 from Elac is built well, sounds great, little bit probably, it's well behaved, okay? So this is not going to be a and a, it's not going to be one of those, okay? JBL Stage A130. A lot of people talk about the JBL Studio 530s, and those do go on sale. Actually, quite a bit. They're back up to $600 though, but they've been known to go on sale below $300. Funny thing is, I still prefer the Stage A130s. I like that series better than the Studio series. Right now, the A130s are at $200, and they are worth every penny of that $200. Oh, I forgot to rank the Elac. Elac B5.2, under $300, 8 out of 10. Anyway, Stage A130 from JBL at $200. Gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Crazy soundstage and imaging. You don't have to pull this thing very far out in the room at all, and it sounds great. I think it's an aluminum dome tweeter. It's not a horn-loaded tweeter, but it sounds good. Too great, actually. Good to great. And it's got a little bit of kick on the bottom end. Really, really, really good speaker. And actually, I'm gonna pull them back out and hook them back up. One of my favorite speakers, and one of the best speakers I think one can get. If you're not into the super spice of the Sony, but you want a little of that, and you want a little excitement on the bottom end, I don't think you can go wrong with the JBL Stage A130 at $200. The Jamo C93ii. This speaker used to be $450. I actually paid more for mine used than what they're going for new right now. So $299, and I've seen them go below $299. A 6-inch woofer, 1-inch soft dome tweeter. They are U-shaped, which means they're really poppy on the bottom and sparkly on the top. This is not a linear speaker or flat speaker. If you're after that speaker, move on, because this isn't going to be the one for you. If you like to have fun, if you love clear dialogue, if you do any type of home theater use, these are awesome speakers for that. I really love these speakers. One of the speakers that I will not get rid of is the Jamo C93ii, and at $300, and they look real good too. They have a different look. There's a whole series of those, so if you're in the towers, you can take a look at those too. I don't have any experience with the towers though, but I can speak for the C93iis. If you're into a V-shaped speaker, poppy on the bottom, excitement on the top, Jamo C93ii is probably the speaker for you. The Micca RB42, not personally a speaker that I would go with, but for a desktop application, this is a very neutral speaker. The problem with this speaker is it takes a lot of power to get going. I think it's a 4-inch woofer and a 1-inch soft dome tweeter. Very small and compact. There's not going to be any enclosure resonance because this thing is like a brick that has some speakers in it. I don't love it, but it's super linear, and I don't love super linear speakers. But you can play around with the way the tweeter is aimed up at you or what height they are, and you can use some EQ on it. Of course, that's what I would do personally, but you're going to want to have some power on tap to get the best out of these speakers. They come in at 150 though, and at 150, this is, I would say, an 8 out of 10 speaker. Sorry, Jamo C93ii at 300, 9 out of 10. When it goes down to like 260, 10 out of 10 speaker. Elac BS41, little 4-inch, 1-inch soft dome tweeter, smaller speaker. This goes on sale all the way down to, well, at one time it went for like $70. That's a 10 out of 10 speaker. I think usually they can be had for around $125. At $125, 8 out of 10 speaker. They also go all the way up to $165, which I think is like a 6 out of 10 speaker. Warmer speaker, but they're pretty balanced. Ton more bass than you would expect out of a speaker of that size. They need a little bit of power too, but the BS41 is kind of the yin to the Sony SSCS5's yang. I think they compete right at the same price, and usually when one is on sale, the other one is on sale too. Elac BS41, one of the best speakers under $200 you can get at, I don't know, 8 out of 10 at $123. Did I already say that? The Moukey, there is a 2-way and a 3-way. The 2-way sometimes goes down to $65. The 3-way sometimes goes to about $80. At those prices, I would say they're both maybe an 8 or 9 out of 10 if you don't listen above about 80 dB. So the more juice you put through these, the more you ask that woofer to move, the more that speaker is going to fall apart. At moderate listening levels, both of those speakers sound pretty good. And at $65 and $80, they're a good deal. They're $100 right now. At least the 3-way's $100 right now. I would probably steer clear of them at that price and save up a little bit more for something else. But they're decent speakers for desktop application for a small room if you don't listen loud. They sound pretty good. The Kef Q150 at $300. It's still $300. I can't believe it. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Kef Q150 at $300. 5.25-inch concentric driver. They look awesome. Bit of a warm tonality to them. Soundstage image, fantastic. You can get a little bit of a juice into them, and they sound great. Great speaker. I wish I still had them. Q150. Don't ever buy them at $600 though. Buy them at $300. I think Kef has gotten wise because they've left them at $300 for a long time now. Kef Q150 for all of your hi-fi needs. The Emotiva B1 Plus at $300 I think is a 8 out of 10 speaker. If you are into the utmost in clarity, then that is the speaker for you. However, just this last holiday season, they went all the way down to $223. And at $223, that's a 10 out of 10 speaker. At the regular $300 price, Still high ranking 8 out of 10 speaker. They can be a bit fatiguing if you get them right on you, but this speaker you can tow directly into the room or face directly out of the room. Still going to get good soundstage and imaging. Killer clarity on this speaker. If that's something that you're after, then that is a great speaker. A little bit cool through the mid-range though, so if you like that warmth, that smoky sound in the mid-range, probably not the speaker for you. But I love that speaker personally. $300, I think it's still a deal. At $223 or $225 or $250 is a screaming deal. Now, little disclaimer, I don't have any personal experience with this. This is the Polk TSI200. These have been discontinued for quite some time, but there's still new old stock available. This is an MTM, so 2 mid-range drivers, 1 tweeter in the middle. Kind of looks like a center channel speaker, but you put these on their side. They're $200 right now for a pair. The TSI100s, when you could get them, were about $100. So this is kind of a clearance. We're getting rid of these speakers. And since I haven't truly heard them, I can't really say that they're great. But the TSI100s were fantastic at $100 a pair. So I'm pretty sure the TSI200s probably sold for $350, maybe even $400 when they're new. But at $200, they're sold by Amazon too. It may be a risk I'm willing to take because you can always return them if you don't like them. They're built very well and they sound very good. At least the TSI 100s go. So you should consider the TSI 200s even though I haven't heard them. The Neumi BS5, it's a 5 1/4 inch woofer, 1 inch soft dome tweeter, front ported. They look great, little tiny speaker. I just did the Silk 4s, which are great speaker. The BS5s come in at $100 or $109. That's an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 speaker at that price. Very good speaker. Neutral, leans a little bit warm. If you crank them up a little bit, and they will take a little bit of juice, some of that top end comes back. But it's a really good speaker. Small and affordable, and I think is a huge step up from the Moukeys. Little bit of a step down from the Miccas as far as being able to handle just a ton of power, but right in the middle. I think the Neumi BS5 has been something that I've not talked about a lot, but it is worth talking about. So for $100, they're 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. I don't know. Everything's an 8 out of 10. Going back to Jamo, the S Series, you can get the S803s, the S807s, I think, which is a tower speaker, 2 woofers. So it's a 2, maybe in a halfway. This is not the cleanest speaker out there, but if you want some towers, you want some pop on the bottom end, take a look at those speakers. I think they come in around $280 for a pair of tower speakers. You can also get the little 5-channel setup that comes with a pair of 803s, 801s, and the center speaker. A lot of times for $225. They are not a audiophile speaker. They're going to fall apart a little bit at higher volumes. They're probably going to peel off a little bit as far as the vinyl wrap on them. Still a good speaker though. And if you're just coming from little small powered speakers or you're coming from a Bluetooth speaker, you're going to like them, I guess. So the S Series from Jamo is something you should take a look at. They range in price anywhere from $100 a pair all the way up to about $300 a pair. Another one from Polk, the ES15, currently on sale for $250. It's a 2-way. It's the newer version of the S Series. So this is the Signature Elite or ES15. Great bass on this thing. It has the patented bass port technology. They look pretty good. It's a vinyl wrap. They have a bit of a different look to them though. And this is a little bit of a warmer speaker, so it's not going to kill you with top-end kindness. It's a listen all day speaker. And it's a little bit sloppy on the bottom end, but at $250 it does better than most speakers of its size. So the SE series from Polk, take a look at them all. The only one that I've spent a lot of time with though is the ES15, which is the 5-inch version. Great speaker. $250, 9 out of 10. And this is the bonus speaker. We're going outside of the $300 range. So the original Elac Unify speaker, new old stock, can be still be had for $331. Big asterisks on this thing though. You need 100 watts. 50 watts maybe if it's like a high current amplifier. But this is a great speaker. It's warm though. A lot of people probably think that it's a little bit neutral, but it leans warm. It leans like the original debut series, which is a great speaker. If you've got a lot of power, and you can get a lot of power from something like the Crown Drive Core or something like that, if you have a lot of power, that is a steal at $330. I think they used to sell for $600 a pair when they were new, and they rarely went on sale. So new, old stock, Elac Unify. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we do Patreon-only Zooms, unless it's the Super Bowl. Patreon-only Facebook. Patreon-only Discord. You can also use the links in the description. Those are affiliate links, which means if you click and you buy, I get a commission, but it doesn't cost you any more, so it's a great way to support the channel. You can also use the thanks button down next to the share button. Buy me a cup of coffee, but don't feel compelled to buy me anything. You can also sign up for Amazon Music, Rune, or Tidal. Links in the description. Even if you quit, I still get a couple of dollars. So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. Maybe listen to one of these cheap speakers and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the Cheap Audio Man.